It's time for another review. This time we are looking at BLNK, BLNK, BLNK charging, and we're using our sponsor's software, Alpha Spread. All my members on YouTube, and only my members on YouTube, get a very good discount that nobody else can offer you. So if you are one of my YouTube members, essentially make my memberships virtually free with the discounts that you get if you want to pay for Alpha Spread services. However, if you want to enjoy my show every day, I review stocks all the time. So let's get straight into BLNK charging. What is BLNK charging? And let's look at a full back test, a review, an intrinsic value, the best case, the worst case, the margins. Should you buy it? Let's have a closer look at BLNK charging. So what is BLNK charging? Well, it engages in the operation provision of electric vehicles, charging equipment, and networked EV charging services. Just a very, very quick look. We will go into our Alpha Spread in just a couple of moments. Just before we do that, though, we are just zooming in. The CEO is Brendan S. Jones, 620 employees from Miami Beach, Florida. 2006 it was founded. It's a very risky stock. If you want it on maintenance, on margin, it will be 100% maintenance. That tells you it's of high risk. Okay, so let's scroll down. It's still losing money. It's a company that doesn't make any money right now. However, things are kind of going sideways, not worse. Of course, a new company like EVs are going to be investing in capital in expenditure for the first few years. But we're going sideways, not going down, not going up either. Our analysts give it a buy of 33% and a hold of 66%. I don't like to use that. That's very basic. We need to go in more detail, and we will in a few moments' time. Price to earnings ratio, because it loses money, it's down $1.15 per share. So you're losing money at the moment. But we'll look at the intrinsic value in a moment. We'll look at the margins and the balance sheet. So please bear with me. If it's your very first time here, click subscribe and ring the bell and give us a thumbs up as well. Okay, so let's go and have a little look over the maximum time of the chart. There you go, what's available here. As you can see, we IPO'd and we crashed down and kept going sideways for the longest term. And then we rose up around about October 20. So we want to know exactly what caused that and then what caused it to fall away. So if you're going to invest in this, you've got to take the time to find out what happened on these events. How do you do that? Well, I can do it for you, or you can look at the company's website and see the different earnings, different events, and see what happened around about this time. Should you invest in it? Well, let's go down and have a little quick look. Who else invests in this company? What other companies do people who invest in BLNK invest in? Why I say that is, this gives you sentiment of the stock. It tells you the sort of style and the sort of trends that the stock will have. Depends on who invests in it, will give you an idea. We've got Plug Power, Charge Point, Fuel Cell Energy, Workhorse, Neo. As you can get the idea, these are all in the same sort of industry. However, some of these are quite small companies and very new and high risk. And Neo concerns me because Chinese stock is very manipulated. I don't like any Chinese stock. I'm a Tesla man. I can't touch Neo or anything like that. But so it's going to be a volatile stock just by the sheer fact of the people that are investing in similar companies. Okay, that gives you some sentiment. Now then, let's go and look at our sponsor's software. We use Alpha Spread. This is what I use when I want to determine which stocks are the best to invest in. It gives me a full indication of what's good, what's not, what I should be looking for, and so on and so forth. So let's have a quick look in at the intrinsic value. The intrinsic value is very, very important. Very, very important. It's a good starting point to invest. I'll zoom in and make it nice and clear for you. In the best case scenario, if the world was in a great place and everything was good, we're looking at 63% undervalue right now. If we value it $7, it's now $2.59. It's dramatically undervalued. Now, you need to know, folks, if you are going to buy a stock, just because it's undervalued does not mean it is worth anything. Make it nice and clear for you. If you've got, let's say, a rubbish an I don't know, an opened can of Coke and it's gone flat and I'm now selling it to you for 10 cents, would you buy it? Undervalue. Normally a can of Coke would be $1. Now it's 4 cents, 40 cents, because it's been opened, it's lost all its gas, and it's not very fizzy anymore. Would you buy it? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, right? It's undervalued, but it's not necessarily a good buy from an investor standpoint, okay? So purely on numbers, it does look undervalued. At a best case, it's 17% undervalued. And worst case, if we value the company at 93 cents, it's overvalued by 64%. So the valuation looks okay. Wall Street, it's up 518%. Relative value is plus 35%. DCF value not applicable here. Intrinsic value minus 64%. Exceptional 3 years growth, 179%. Exceptional revenue growth, 58%. Okay, let's scroll down and get some more information. Now, because this company hasn't been out very long, we don't have all the history as we might like to. So as you can see, that's missing out there. This is important here. Fundamentals, the financials, 94.4 million. If we look up 29%, it's been growing. June 29th, we were looking at 35 million, 46 million, 61 million, 73 million, and our last date was June 29th, 94 million. When we're then moving into estimates, and Wall Street are giving the estimates as a nice steady growth, that's okay. We like that. The growth over 1 year is 165%. It's slowed down over 10 years. It was 78,000, but of course, that's when it first IPO'd. The operating income down 17%, 123.2 million. Net income down 18% at 125 million. Free cash flow down 24% at 125 million. Okay. Let's move on to the balance sheet. Balance sheet is one of my favorite metrics to look at. This tells us a great deal about the health of the company. What can we see from the balance sheet today? Looking at Blink, it's a very small company. Look, as you can see, 468 million on assets, and that comprises of 169 million. I'll zoom in a little bit more for you. 169 million cash and short-term investments, receivables 43 million, other current assets 51 million, non-current assets 299, and you can see the rest for yourself. Looking at the liabilities, which is good to say, assets outweigh the liabilities, very nice indeed. Current liabilities, 68.5 million. Accounts payable, 30.1 million. Accrued liabilities, 19.8. And you can see the rest there for yourself, okay? So the balance sheet is relatively healthy. We got a decent balance sheet. Now, the efficiency of the company. Is very, very important because, as I've said before on other reviews, the efficiency of the company is all very well if the company's got income, but it's how big is its gross margin. Why I like a company with a really high margin is it gives it a moat. You often talk about a moat round a business. It protects the business if its margins shrink. Other businesses in the similar field could go out of business, and so its margins are a little bit low for me. It's not too bad, but I'm a bit concerned that the margin is a little bit on the lower side. Because you could very easily have competition who could improve on their margins and very quickly put you out of business by lowering their prices and so on and so forth. But the gross margin 24%, and you can see the rest yourself. Operating margin down 146%. These are important numbers. The fundamental score, now this isn't the highest that we've seen. It's not too bad though. You just don't want to be red. You are looking for green. But if you are looking for green, the company is now probably getting overbought anyway. Blink solvency score, it's not too bad. It's got a tick for negative net debt, low DE, long-term solvency and short-term solvency. If we look at 51 out of 100, we've seen far worse scores than that. That means essentially if you invest in this company, It's got a decent cash burn run. It's not likely to go bankrupt anytime soon. It's not running out of money. However, the profitability score is a little bit low. It's not too bad. We're not in the red, but again, we'd like to see green. A profitability score of 35%. Okay, moving along now. Let's scroll down and see what else we've got here. Wall Street analyst. Now, Wall Street is not that good at analyzing this kind of stock. A new stocks, EVs, Tesla, we all know, can't do Optimus, it can't do Robotaxi. Very, very difficult for a company to value a new company like Blink because it doesn't really know, it hasn't got the track record. There's a lot of unknowns in it. But anyway, Wall Street give it a massive forecast, 1,927 upside at the highest range, $16, which is a 518, and $5, it's a 95%. So far, the balance sheet looks quite good. The cash run looks good. The margin looks good. You think, okay, there's a potential. It's a good potential stock to invest in at the right price. However, just because it's really cheap, undervalued, has massive potential upside, doesn't mean we're going to get that. It just gives you a better chance with these sort of numbers. No doubt about it. Okay, we're now going to look down and see if there is any insider trading going on. Now, insider trading is very, very important because if we can look at the inside trading and we can see who has bought the stock recently and how much has been bought or sold. And as we can see, over the last 3 to 6 months, we have had some insider trading, but we just need to be clear on this, how big it is, because we do get inside trading where it can be not getting rid of the stock because it's rubbish, but getting rid of the stock because it's just part of their allocation and the certain amount of stocks get sold every month, every quarter, or whatever, just part of tax purposes. It's not necessarily a sellout, a bad sentiment. So we need to look at that. Now, I've spoken to the CEO of Alpha Spread, and I've actually asked him if we can add a metric here so we can look at, for example, on August the 23rd, Farkas Michael, Farkas Michael D, 10%, a 10% owner who sold $228,000 worth of Blink shares. So what I'd like to see, he sold 10% of his shares. Sorry, I beg your pardon. He's a 10% owner. He owns 10% of the company. But I'd like to know how many of these shares he had before and how many he's got left and so on and so forth. So I've spoken to Alex to see if we can actually see how many he's got left. Would be interesting to know if we just got a little button on there and we could see. Because if he sold less than 1%, it's not a concern. However, if he sold more like 50%, then perhaps there is a concern here. Anyway, no buying in. We'd like to see buying in. However, if a stock starts going up, we've already had the buying in. So what I try to do is I'm looking at making relationships with people through my X account, my Instagram account, and I'm looking to make relationships with people at the factory, on the ground, and get a sentiment of what's going on. So if I think that there's likely to be something new on the horizon, I like to then buy in myself, and then I expect to see some inside buying a few weeks later. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not waiting for everyone to be buying in. I want to be buying in before I see everyone buying in. So I watch this a lot. Okay, let's have a look here. And we can look at the historic price. We go on the over the last. So we go over the last year. We can see we were at $14. We've been consistently coming down. The 3 year we've already looked at this on the other chart, but we can see it's constantly trending down. Are we now at a good price? Honestly, I don't know. I'd need to do some more digging on the company. But if we look at the price metrics, average annual return, 460%, standard deviation of annual returns, 949%, and max drawdown, minus 96%. Blink Charging integrates semi-connect chargers into the global network for enhanced EV charging. I would like to know if I was buying Blink, what is their relationship with Elon Musk? As we know, Ford have licensed now a deal with Elon to put the Tesla chargers on their, the Tesla plugs on their chargers. Has Blink done that? If Blink has done that, then that would be very interesting, because we know that Tesla is the leading EV. If Blink has done a deal with Tesla, so that's something I think I'd like to look at. If I was interested in buying into Blink, then this would have to be something I would want to look into to see if Elon has done a deal there. Anyway, there is just my initial look at Blink charging. It's interesting. Is it the right time to buy? I don't know. I'm not fully 100% decided whether this is one for me, but it looks interesting. What do you think? Are you interested in Blink charging? If you are, perhaps you would leave me your thoughts below in this video. If you're watching me on the website of Alpha Spread, because we know that this review has been posted to Alpha Spread, welcome. I highly recommend that the software. I use it myself, as you've just seen it demonstrated. Very, very useful. It does give you the tools for you to be able to choose wisely, your investments. So I highly recommend it. If you are a member of my YouTube channel, click above my head, find all the links, and all below in the description. My X account, you can see when I'm trading, before I trade, and before I sell anything, and all the other things. If you become a member, you will get a discount to Alpha Spread, and I think you'll be very happy, because it's the best deal possible. If you're not a member of my channel, you just pay the full price like everybody else. If you look over here, you'll find more videos in the series. And until next time, I hope that was helpful, as some help to you. Blink charging, interesting one. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.